Hello there! This is Teach, and you are watching the bonus episode of Mogeko Castle. You were expecting a funny skit? Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you. This is going to be a bit more behind the scenes. I'm going to be explaining a few things about Mogeko Castle with voices and Mogeko Castle in general. I was also going to do a Q&A, but no one bothered to bring up any questions except for one person, which I'll get to later. So first and foremost, how did I get into Mogeko Castle? It was actually my brother who introduced me to the game. He showed it to me on YouTube. I looked at it, and I thought it was quite interesting and a little creepy. Especially the fact that the Mogekos had these synthetic voices that clashed with their cute look. That kind of got to me. And I continued watching it. I was really interested. And I was kind of expecting it to be kind of like Clock Tower, in which Mogekos would chase you, you'd have to run and hide, maybe occasionally stab a few with a knife, something like that. My expectations were quickly dashed at that aspect, but it did not disappoint me. I did like where the story went, and I did find it rather stunning for a simplistic game like this. And pretty soon, the wheels started spinning in my head, and I was thinking, you know what would be really nice is if this thing had voices. And I'm like, could I do this? And after some thought, I was like, yeah, I could actually do this. I could. So I got to work on that. And pretty soon you have what you've got today, which is Mogeko Castle with voices. Which brings me to my next thing. Basically, I am doing what is called the With Voices series, which is where I take a game, namely, usually it's going to be an RPG Maker game. It's one of the smaller ones, more bite-sized, easy to manage, and I put voices into it. But a lot of times, I don't just put voices. I kind of add some effects, add some music, add some extra lines of dialogue. I want to give it some flair. Furthermore, I want it so that you are looking at this through the eyes of the character, rather than having it be a let's play where you hear someone talking, and granted the person's going to be entertaining, but he is essentially an outside spectator in this person's world. I kind of want you to do it from the character's point of view, which is why, for instance, I had Yonaka and Defect Mogeko doing a lot of talking while they were going through the game. Otherwise, you get moments of silence. And when you combine that with a lack of music, that can kind of be a bit of a drag. I prefer not to do that. So, yeah. Bit more voices, more flair. Sometimes I might even put in some animations, wherever applicable. And I want to give it that extra punch, that extra spice that makes it a little better. Right now, there are 5 games which I plan to give the with voices treatment. I will probably go into that on my Patreon, which should be posted by now. So moving on, let's start with our Q&A section, which consists of a single question from Gaming. Do you try it with all Mogeko games? Okay. Think we got a bit of an ESL issue here, but I got a feeling he's wondering if I'm going to do this with all of the Mogeko games. Here's the thing. Grey Garden with voices is up next. if things go well with casting. Basically, it's going to be a bigger animal to deal with. More levels, longer gameplay, a larger cast of characters. Not the basic one and dones that you see in Mogeko Castle. And there's going to be a lot of large hurdles to jump through. And if things go well, I will do the Grey Garden with voices. Now, if things don't go well, I'll probably pass that and move on to one of the smaller games, and then maybe return to it later. As for Wada no Hara, that one is gonna be even bigger, believe it or not, and that one's not one of the 5 games that I'm planning to do. However, I am a Mogeko fanboy, and I do plan to eventually do it if things go well. I would love to do that one. In fact, I have a pretty good idea of who I want to cast for Wada no Hara, believe it or not. Although, that's going to be a while. And once Carnival Rhythm and Mogeko Castle Gaiden come out, yes, they will certainly go on my list of games to give the with voices treatment to. Now, I'm going to go and talk about one of the things that has confused a lot of watchers of Mogeko Castle, and that's the ending. I've even gone on TV Tropes, and they pretty much say that the ending is quite ambiguous, and that, this whole thing could just be a head trip of Yonaka's or something like that. I heartily disagree. I'm basically taking this as it is, basically going as if everything is real. Few things to keep in mind. One, Yonaka already knows that her brother is insane from the get-go. Actually, you realize that once she escapes her brother and enters the bus, she knew the whole time that there was something up with her. And that kind of has an effect on her demeanor as well, because, she hardly flinches when she realizes that he's basically killed their parents. She only becomes afraid when she realizes that he's going to kill her next. And even then, that takes a while for it to sink in that he's actually going to go for her. And where exactly did Shinya come home from anyways? Probably an asylum. I mean, the first couple of flashbacks have them interacting quite peacefully. They establish that Yonaka and Shinya are all chill and they get along, but the next one is like Shinya gets wrapped up in an incident. What kind of incident? Well, I don't think it was pickpocketing, that's for sure. So, and then the one after that is where he gets carted off to the funny farm. No, that's just an educated guess. The game never really tells us outright where he's been. And then after that, the rest of the flashbacks are basically Yonaka pining over him, and then in the beginning of the game, brother comes home again. So yeah. That being said, she escapes Shinya, she goes on the bus takes her back to Mogeko Castle, she escapes Mogeko Castle, confronts Shinya, ends up killing him, and she ends up back in Mogeko Castle. Actually, both endings do this. One of my big hurdles in this was the decision of whether or not to merge the two endings together, because in the normal ending, Yonaka is kind of in a broken state of mind, which is why she seems a little different when she gets back to Mogeko Castle. In the true end, she's more at peace because she got to talk to Shinya, she got to see him in his normal personality. He died human, in other words. So she's in a more calm, peaceful state of mind. You'll probably find out later that she's pretty much breaks regardless. one of the major differences between the happy end and the normal end is that the normal end is basically a Lotus Eater world. The normal end comes because Yonaka kills one or all of the special Mogekos, and they basically punish her by placing her in this false paradise where she becomes a god and rules over Mogeko Castle. As for the happy end, where she ends up trapped with King Mogeko, it really doesn't matter how she ended up back in Mogeko Castle, because it's quite obvious that the Mogekos can just take her back anytime. They've already marked her. They already desire her. Probably Yonaka broke right after she killed her brother, passed out, and then King Mogeko grabbed her and brought her into her room. Speaking of endings, one of the things that really interested me was that this is actually a remake. So there's a lot of differences, not just graphic-wise, but a few subtle nuances you'll notice. For instance, the fourth ending toy is actually extended in the remake, whereas in the original, Mogeko just slices Yonaka up. Bad end number 7, Fictitious Truth, was added into the remake. If Shinya caught you in the original version, it was a standard game over. And one of the things I noticed was that the guards at the gateway in Mogeko Castle are silent. However, in the original version, there was an item called an indulgence. If you gave it to them, it would actually allow you to change the ending. That is to say, if you killed one of the special Mogekos, then rescued General Hishasaki, he would give you the indulgence, you turn it into the guard, and then you get the true ending. Of course, you also had the option to skip rescuing Mogekov, and if you missed that chance, you could bully one of the guards to get this particular item. Thing is, in the remake, Yonaka is compelled to rescue General Mogeko Hishasaki. There is no option to not rescue him, namely because he reappears in the sequel. But in the original version, you could skip him entirely. I know this, one, because the Let's Player I watched actually did this, and two, I actually had VG Person translate the things that the guards said, among other things. It was really kind of interesting. I just had to go and make a scene out of that. That's why you have basically an extra 5 minutes added to the final episode. It just had to be in there. Real quickly, I want to give a quick thank you to the folks who made this possible. Freddie Colton, my first voice actor. Shannon Kelly, who became Yonaka. Isabel Hunter, who did the voice of Kurotsuno and her friends. Skylar Yuda, very good job as Hasu, as well as the extras. Joey Cat, who was Mogeko, very good performance there. And last but not least, my brother. Alright, I think we're about out of time right now. We're going to talk about the trailer in a few moments. And here we are, Mogeko Castle Gaiden, General Hishasaki's Great Adventure. Among the old characters, we've got Yonaka, Defect Mogeko, Mogeko, and of course, General Mogeko Hishasaki. Among new characters, we've got Mogekov, Moge Fire, based off Yosa Fire, Moge Nohara, based off Wada Nohara, and Panchetta. First off, notice that Mogeko has decided to come over to the Mogeko Kremlin just for the sake of kidnapping General Mogekov. Unlike Yonaka, where she kind of wandered into the 4th floor, into Mogeko's territory. Here, she is actively trying to kidnap the general for some reason, which we'll probably find out later. Another thing is, notice that in the bonus room it says that Mogeko is an artificial creation. Does that mean that Mogekov and Pancetta are also artificial creations? A lot of these Mogeko girls are still kind of mysterious, so I'm kind of curious as to how that'll pan out. Another thing I should probably mention is that if we're going by the true ending, aka the happy end, I can probably assume that none of the special Mogekos have been killed, well, save for Hasu, and Defect Mogeko rises from the dead, so chances are we'll probably get to see them all again at least once. I had also considered the possibility that Mogekov would be the protagonist trying to rescue the kidnapped general, although the screenshots on Mogeko's website proved otherwise. The big thing I wanted to talk about was Yonaka, actually. See, as I said before, both endings have it where Yonaka's mind breaks and she winds up back in Mogeko Castle. You might be tempted to think this is going off the normal end where she is wearing King Mogeko's scalp and has basically made Mogeko her bitch. But here's the thing. In the normal end, Yonaka became King Yonaka, then she became Lord Prosciutto. Here though, Lord Prosciutto does not come about, so she has inherited King Mogeko's powers, taken his castle, and we're gonna see just how crazy and powerful she becomes. My prediction in this is that Yonaka will be the true villain of the Mogeko Castle Gaiden, and that General Hashasaki will somehow try to help restore her as repayment for her rescuing him. That's pretty much going to be my prediction. Here's looking forward to the Mogeko Gaiden release. I am also looking forward to Mogeko Castle with Cannibals, aka Carnival Rhythm, but that's for another time. Alright, this is pretty much going to be it for the bonus room. Thank you all for watching Mogeko Castle with Voices, and for sticking around for the bonus episode. And what better way to send this thing out than with one final interview. Take it away, Matt.
Hey, hi there. Morning, good day, good evening. Time for Underworld Broadcasting Bloody Radio with your ghost host, DJ Matt. Today's guest is, ta-da, the brocestuous high school girl, Yonaka Kurai. Woo!
Hello, brocestuous.
Alright, so how was it, Yonaka? Thoughts on Mogeko Castle?
To be honest, I never want to appear in another one of these again.
I'll bet. Oh, but don't worry. Gaiden's gonna be even crueler and take even more from ya. That aside, I actually made a little cameo in this game. Did you notice me? Plus some other guys, but hey, you know.
No, hold on. Gaiden? What? I didn't hear about...
Alright, moving into the rapid-fire Q&A part of the program. Our first question is from M-san of K Prefecture. Please tell us Yonaka's favorite type of man. Woo! Yonaka, what do you say to that?
Brother.
Yikes! So much brocest. Gross!
Aren't you being a bit cruel?
Not so much if it's true, eh?
Oh, well, look.
Right, moving on. From Ludi. Please tell us Yonaka's first romance. Aho!
Brother.
Seriously, that's incest, you big dummy.
You have the wrong idea. It's a pure love.
And ain't love all about motive?
Wrong again.
Right, pure incest it is, you brainless idiot. Right, from I Love Panties. Please tell us Yonaka's favorite person.
The
We know it's your stinking brother.
Is that wrong?
Who said that? Right, how about we look at different sorts of questions? Maybe give you a ghost of a chance. Ahem, from Pasha Sky. Why was Yonaka chosen as the protagonist of this game? Who cares?
Huh? What the?
Don't go asking me that stuff. I couldn't care less.
That's cruel. You're cruel.
Shut up, you hopeless romantic.
You should apologize to brother lovers all over Japan.
Oh, so you acknowledge it.
Ah.
Oh yeah, I've gone to mess around at Mogeko Castle from time to time. And since I'm not weak like you, I can murder those Mogekos so easy.
Well, I'm only human. What do you expect of me?
Probably nothing, dummy.
You're mean!
But so hey, Yonaka,
Yes.
why do you like your bro so much?
Huh? Why? Oh gosh.
Oh gosh, ain't gonna cut it, you big nincompoop.
Yeah!
Huh? What?
You're bleeding a lot.
Oh, this? Happens sometimes. That's basically sweat, I guess.
You're all so weird.
Says the bromancer.
It's perfectly normal.
Size, you seen tons of blood. Ain't you used to it by now?
Well, you kind of numbed me to it.
Then get a load of this.
Hey, what are you doing? Stop!
Black, that's some dirty blood.
Oh, jeez. You're reminding me of Mogeko.
Oh, that nutcase.
She was really frightening.
Yeah, I've been attacked in one of her frenzies too.
Huh? What happened?
I ran.
I figured.
Ahem, back to questions now. From Flutterbot. Why does Yonaka cover one eye? Well, why?
To look like brother.
Ugh, this is beyond gross. This is physically sickening.
You're so rude.
How much can you love the guy? Gross.
I can't help liking him a lot, okay?
But ain't covering one eye dangerous when you ride a bike?
I don't ride a bike.
Well, don't worry. I do, so you can ride him back.
Oh, how promising.
Yeesh, prattling about stupid stuff. We're almost out of time.
That's your fault.
Yonaka, a final word to the players, if you please.
Everyone, thank you very much for playing Mogeko Castle.
Wait, is that it?
The game was too horrible for me to say anything more.
Right you are! Okay, that's it for Bloody Radio. This has been DJ Met and Yonaka Kurai. See you next week!
What's next week?
Who knows? Bye-bye!
Bye-bye.
It's part walkthrough, part drama, part parody, and all kinds of awesome. So what are you waiting for? Let's get this show on the road.